I'm realizing that things that we were told are probably not right. And I'm realizing that our side does things that they accuse the other side of doing, and vice versa. Both sides accuse people of doing things, but we have to realize that maybe they're doing it too. Maybe that's why they see something going on.
The interesting thing in what I'm hearing is that I'm not hearing that you're getting information from actual news organizations. You're
Mhm,
getting it from people who already have sort of a point of view. And so I think that that can certainly color the approach that you have and the view that you have about politics. I would
mhm,
suggest, if you're interested in any way of finding out the facts, go to the Associated Press. It's been around for 200 years. It has editorial oversight. Stuff doesn't get published unless an editor has had a chance to challenge the reporter and say, "Where'd you get that? How do you know that's true?" And that's not the case for a lot of the people who are influencers on the
mhm.
internet. Reuters is another wire service that's very reputable, been around a long time, based in the UK, but they cover the US, very, very objectively. Those are just two sources right there. And the reason I trust them is that I know that they are careful to get as many sides of the story as possible so that you can be an informed voter. Because really, I understand that a lot of people are really turned off about politics. I get that. And it's understandable because of
Mhm.
the extremes on both sides. And you're right about the talking points. In fact, that's why I became a journalist in the first place, is that I was at the University of Wisconsin going to college in 1968 when the Vietnam War was a big deal, very controversial. And I was being spun from both the left and the right to take a position for or against the war. And I
Mm,
just instinctively knew that whoever was talking to me was leaving something out that would undermine their argument. And that's
mhm,
really why I went into journalism in the first place, is to be in a position to try to find out what the facts are. That's how it all worked out. But I appreciate the fact that you're an independent, that you are very careful about your own values, and that you're in a sense voting your values. And
mhm,
I think that's wise. I think that's a really good approach. And the problem that we have is that for the longest time, probably for the last, I don't know, 30 years, news has been hyper polarized.
mhm.
And so, with Fox News, you've got, the right, they're
Yeah.
and CNN certainly tilted to the left for a while. I think though that they're trying to come back to the middle a little bit more, but broadcast journalism is changing. It has changed tremendously in my lifetime, and
Mhm,
even since I left CNN in 2013. And that is that they're spending a lot of time, MSNBC does it, CNN, Fox, they're doing news analysis. Granted, the people that they have on that are analyzing the news are people that know what they're talking about. There's less of they're more shouting at each other as opposed to what are the facts. I think if you read the Associated Press, you're going to get the facts and you're going to get them fast, as opposed to sitting there for an hour watching people shout at each other.
that's true. That makes sense. I mean, you can't hear if they have a bias, you can't hear their bias in their reading. Sometimes you might be able to read it a little bit, but you can parse through that and figure out what the truth is. You can get rid of that a little easier, the bias inside whatever's written, more than I think you can when you're hearing it, because there's an emotional level that comes with hearing something.
Because part of that is persuasion. And that's I think the ultimate difference. Good journalism, the pure journalism's job is to inform, not persuade. And
Mm,
that's the difference. When you read an Associated Press article, you need to ask yourself, what does the other side say? And you're going to
mhm,
find it. You're going to find it in that story. And then you can make up your own mind, as opposed to being spun, as opposed to being persuaded.
mhm,
That's the difference. Is someone trying to persuade you, or is someone trying to inform you?
mhm. Yep.